Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right in today because we're looking at a truly fascinating text written back in 2021 by an author named Xu Feng. Now, we're going to explore a framework here that starts out as a very practical set of daily habits, but then it unexpectedly escalates into this profound, almost cosmic, metaphysical worldview. It's a brilliant piece of writing that's definitely going to challenge how you view your everyday routines. We're going to break the whole thing down to really grasp what this author is proposing about the way we live our lives. But right off the bat, before we get into the specifics of his philosophy, I want you to ask yourself a question. What actually makes someone truly extraordinary? You know, when you hear that word, you probably instantly picture grand gestures, massive achievements, world-changing inventions, or maybe incredible acts of heroism. It's just human nature to associate an extraordinary life with massive scale. But our 60-year-old author offers a completely different and frankly surprising perspective based on his half-century of life experience.
And here it is, listen to this quote. By completing every little thing you do perfectly, you become an extraordinary individual. So the author's core premise is that the secret to a phenomenal life isn't actually found in those big, sweeping moments. Instead, it's found in the relentless, uncompromising perfection of everyday, microscopic tasks. It's basically a completely bottom-up approach to greatness. The logic here is that your path in life will only grow wider if you manage to conquer the absolute smallest details right in front of you.
So, how exactly do we apply this? Let's look at our first section, perfecting your relationships. The author sets a remarkably high behavioral standard for everyday interactions. When you're serving or cooperating with others, the goal is to earnestly bring them joy and satisfaction. He places a massive emphasis on showing overt respect and a real willingness to serve superiors, elders, or highly accomplished people. But the absolutely crucial point here is that third one. Never harbor complaints or be half-hearted. Seriously, not even the slightest hint. When you collaborate, Xu Feng advises that you should actively seek to give more and enjoy less. The whole goal is to make the interaction exceptionally comfortable and valuable for the other person, completely stripping away your own ego in the process. And watch how this builds when we apply it to our closest ties, our blood relatives and spouses. The text instructs us to completely drop our focus on personal interests when dealing with family. You are to give your utmost effort, utilizing the absolute full extent of your abilities to serve them. And when it comes to expectations, never expect rewards in return. It's an instruction to provide total, absolute security and comfort, making your family members feel incredibly safe around you, entirely devoid of any transactional expectations. It is a total, selfless perfectionism right in the home. But the author doesn't just leave this philosophy at home. Let's move on to mastering the workplace.
Notice the stark contrast here. An ordinary mindset in the workplace often involves complaining about a difficult boss, grumbling about a low salary, or just feeling generally dissatisfied with the work environment. We've all been there, right? But Xu Feng's standard is entirely uncompromising. According to the text, none of those external factors actually matter. He argues that you should never think your efforts aren't worth it just because the pay is low or your boss is flawed. His rule is completely binary. You literally either quit and leave the job entirely, or you put your absolute heart and soul into doing the work to the highest possible level. There is zero room for middle ground or quiet quitting here.
Up to this point, we've covered some intense, but ultimately standard life advice. But this is where we shift from the how to the why. Section 3, the unseen observers. This one statement completely changes the entire context of the author's advice. Even when you are alone, there are eyes watching. The author reveals this as a spiritual secret he discovered after becoming a guide in something he calls Life Chain Yuan. So this intense drive for perfection we've been talking about, it isn't just for self-improvement or social harmony. It's because, according to the text, we are under constant, ceaseless observation by unseen entities.
So who are these unseen observers, according to the author? Well, these watchers aren't your peers. The text states they are never of a lower or equal level to you. They're always significantly more advanced and outstanding. And here is the real kicker. They are the ones who determine whether your future will be smooth or difficult. So those tiny mundane tasks we talked about earlier, how you wash the dishes, how you format a quick email, how you speak to a coworker, these advanced entities are actively judging your dedication to those exact microscopic tasks.
This is a really powerful metaphor the author uses to illustrate the cosmic stakes of his philosophy. If you fail in the small things, these advanced observers ensure your path through life becomes progressively narrower, more difficult, and much more constrained. But if you excel in every little thing, if you achieve that perfection in the minutiae, they widen your path as you move forward. Essentially, your macroscopic destiny is directly controlled by your microscopic actions.
And as if the stakes weren't high enough already, let's look at our next concept, the information retention space.
According to the source material, this is a metaphysical realm where absolutely every single word you speak and every action you take is permanently recorded. The author is completely clear on this. Even if tens of thousands of years pass, or hey, even if the Earth itself completely disappears, everything recorded in the space remains totally intact. Once you utter a word or take an action, it is locked in eternally. It's literally impossible to change or erase.
What I find incredibly fascinating here is how the author connects this vast, eternal, cosmic concept directly back to our everyday modern lives. He specifically warns us about our digital footprints. The text explicitly points out that the online world and platforms like WeChat groups provide a vast space for our actions to be recorded. Every single message you send, every random comment you leave online is instantly etched into this eternal information retention space. It's a pretty striking reminder from the author to be hyper-vigilant about our digital behavior. Because nothing is ever erased, the author assigns ultimate, spiritually charged stakes to our behavior. The text asserts that speaking perfectly and doing every little thing perfectly quite literally paves the way to heaven. Conversely, speaking and acting in an ugly, imperfect manner paves the way to hell. So the author is framing every tiny interaction as a literal building block for your eternal destination.
Let's start bringing this all together now with our final section, shaping your life trajectory.
This basically represents the author's fundamental view of cosmic cause and effect. It's a pure input-output system. What information you input into the world directly determines the results the world and those advanced watchers will give back to you. The text emphasizes that every word we speak fully reflects our inner world. And because of this permanent recording system, the author notes that sometimes a single seemingly insignificant word or a tiny action can permanently alter the trajectory of your entire life or even someone else's.
Which brings us right back to our central thesis, acting as a powerful concluding takeaway. Extraordinary lives are those who complete every little thing perfectly. Through the lens of this specific source material, being extraordinary has absolutely nothing to do with the grand scale of your actions. It's entirely about the flawless quality of your smallest actions. It's moving through life knowing that each little thing is being eternally recorded and judged by advanced observers who are constantly shaping your path. The smallest details are inextricably linked to the grandest possible existence.
So, I want to leave you with a final thought based on Scheffing's worldview. Think about what you are going to do right after this explainer finishes. Maybe it's sending a quick work email, washing a coffee cup, or just saying hello to a family member. Based on what we've learned today, how will you approach your very next small task? Are you going to rush through it half-heartedly, or will you do it perfectly, knowing it might just be the exact action that widens your path? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating text, and I'll see you in the next explainer.